Hi there. Welcome to the Contemplate Show. In this show, we try to answer life's trickiest questions in the best way possible. We educate, encourage, and inspire individuals to achieve their goals. On this episode 12, we have a special guest, Guinness Book of World Record holder, for an individual who cooked for 140 hours. You know, it's a lot of work, a lot of stress. We want to get into the nitty-gritty of how the goal started and why she was inspired to take on this challenge. I have a special guest today, Evette Quoibia.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be on this show.
Fantastic. So we're going to jump right in. My first question to you is, we'd like to know what inspired you to take on this challenge for the individual who cooked for 140 hours.
A lot of things inspired me. Also, one of them would be seeing someone do it and actually succeed in it. I said to myself, if they can do it, I can do it too. I naturally have passion for cooking, food, inspiring people, or creating good memories through food. I'm already in the field. I remember there were times when I would have an event, I'll cook so I'll stay awake for 2 to 3 days, 24 hours. When I first saw the Guinness World Record cooking marathon, I was shocked. I said to myself, I cannot believe I've been sitting on the Guinness Book of Records. I then said to myself, well, this is something I can actually do. This is an opportunity for me to inspire more people through my story. I come from a background where there was war. My parents had to move from place to place for safety, and we eventually came to Australia. When I came to Australia, I felt like I was not going to be able to achieve something big, even though I had the desire to do something more or something bigger than myself. But due to the lack of opportunity, where I came from or my background, I felt like that was going to be happen until I discovered the Guinness Book of Records longest cooking marathon, which was within my ability to achieve. I was quite happy, and I said to myself, I can do this. Then I decided to go for it, to reach out to more people, to share my story on bigger platform, and encourage someone else that feels the way I feel.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Can we just take it back to how you found out you love to cook and how cooking was a pathway for you to express yourself?
I was saying when I was young, about 8, 9, 7, or even younger, other kids will be playing with dolls. I will be cooking on little charcoal, and the little tin tomato stuff. I'll cook in those things, and the food always smells so good. I even wanted to taste them because they look like real food. Then growing up, I come from a big family, and I'm the oldest girl. So I cook a lot for my family. There's about 11 of us, and I've been cooking for the whole family all the time. But regardless of doing that, I genuinely had a passion in me. Now I discovered that I did have a gift, but then I did not know that was a gift. It took me a very long time to figure that out. When I came to Melbourne in 2014, I was walking past a place in Sunshine. I saw an African restaurant. Then it was a Nigerian restaurant in Sunshine West. I said to myself, and then there's pictures of the food on the windows. And I said to myself, I can actually make these things. I'm really good at turning food around, making this rice that I hear. And my friend said to me, you should go and talk to them. And I hired it. And I said, okay. So I went, talked to them, applied, and I got hired. I became the chef for that restaurant. When I was there, it was very packed. A lot of people were coming, they were complimenting my food. Also, when I was in Queensland, whenever I cook for like events, church, volunteer cooking, people are really excited. They eat the food and they're so happy. They're complimenting me. And I started to pick things up, but I really didn't know that was the path I was going to take. After working in the restaurant, I then grew the desire to have my own restaurant. And then years later, I stopped working there. I had a big shift in my life. I decided it was time for me to follow my passion, which was for food. I then decided to start a business in food, which was a milk bar / restaurant. And that's how the journey started.
Well, that's quite interesting. What are the obstacles that you had to deal with in working from a hobby, volunteering? Just run us through what were the obstacles? How did you overcome them?
There were quite a lot of obstacles, I would say. I think one of the biggest obstacles would be not believing in yourself. I think that would be the biggest one because I had trouble. Like, I remember there were times I had to keep saying to people, I'm going to have a restaurant. I'm going to have a restaurant to motivate myself to do it. Because I'm a person, when I say I'm going to do something, I try my best to make that happen. I kept saying it to motivate myself. But I kind of didn't believe that it was going to happen. But I just kept saying it to kind of motivate myself and to just believe that it was going to happen. Because I've said it to someone, I'm like, yeah, they're going to be like, she said she was going to do this, she didn't do it. And that kind of made me push through. Another obstacle would be just gathering everything together, like just starting up. Coming from overseas background, I think being in Australia is kind of hard because you don't know how to navigate things. You don't know where to start, who to turn to, what to do. What are the right things to put together, who to contact to, set up, I'll say. So I think that's the kind of obstacles I face, financial obstacles. Yeah, I think those are the things that kind of affected me to start. And another obstacle would be, I'm also a single mom. I think by then my son was around 5. I had a 5-year-old son to also look after, take care of. I think that was another huge obstacle for me.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. But why did you start with believing in yourself? You didn't start with finance. You didn't start with family. You started with belief. Why that?
I've learned to believe that whatever is the strongest in us manifests itself. When I don't believe in myself, I cannot accomplish anything. But I learned that when I do believe in myself, I think I have to motivate myself first to take that step and believe that it will happen. Then it happens. But I think you can have the money, but if you don't believe in yourself, you'll never take that step. You'll always be afraid to take the step. But once you believe in yourself, I think it paves the way to making things happen for you, I'll say. Because no one can encourage you more than yourself. I think you are your biggest motivator. Like you have to kind of motivate yourself, because it doesn't matter if you don't believe in yourself. It doesn't matter what everyone else say, because you know yourself. So if you believe you can't do it, there's nothing anyone can say to make you believe that you can do it. There's no, even if Jesus come down and say, even you can do it, you'll be like, no, I don't think I can. But once you start to train yourself to believe, to be positive and say, I can do it, or maybe look at other people that have done something great and say, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And then you can slowly kind of progress to making it happen.
So what do you say to people who believe that their greatest challenge is finance, and they want to deal with finance first before they, work on themselves in terms of belief? What would be your, response to people like that?
I'll say they should not worry about the money first, because getting to to accomplishing something is a whole process. So even if the money comes, if you don't believe in yourself, you're going to end up doing something with it, something else. So I don't think they should worry about the money. I think the first step, once you believe in yourself, I believe it will draw you to the right path that will kind of halfway for the resource, which money is one of the resources, to come your way. I don't think money should be the first thing. I think the first thing would be to believe that it's going to happen. And once you believe it's going to happen, automatically things start to go in the right path for you with time.
Yeah, fantastic. I have another question for you. What was going through your mind when you wanted to put in for this contest? In terms of doubt, how were you able to navigate the doubt within the process of application and the words that, was playing in your head?
Oh, a lot. I think number one, I would say the way I deal with doubts, because I do deal with doubts a lot too. I think some people think I don't because I'm very ambitious, but it comes with also having that thing play in your mind that, oh no, you can't do it. How are you going to do it? This is not possible. What are people going to say? But for me, first, I'm a believer. I believe in God. So I say to myself, if God placed it on my heart, I think I'm going to take that step and trust that He's going to make it. He's going to help me accomplish it. I think that's the biggest thing that kind of motivates me to will be putting my trust in God and knowing that if He has placed it on my heart, I should take that step of faith and trust that He will help me make it happen. I would say even my first marathon, the whole process of marathon, the first one would be doing the application. I spent the whole night because I'm not very good at like paperwork is not my thing. I spent the whole night. I did not ask anyone for help. I spent the whole night trying to figure out how to apply for it. And when I applied for it, I'm like, I'm just going to put it in God's hands. If He allows them to, if they accept me, that means I should go for it. I think that's how sometimes I deal with things. I say to myself, I'm going to take the first step, trust God, take the step, apply. If they accept my application, even though it's not perfect, that means I should go for it. God will help me make it happen.
Yeah. Was there a reason why you didn't want help, or you didn't want to share with anyone?
The first thing would be people would discourage you a lot. They'll be like, nah, you're crazy. I mean, I heard that a lot. They'll be like, I did not tell anybody when I applied because I knew they'll be like, you're crazy. How do you think you're capable of cooking for 6 days? That's impossible. So I did not want any discouragement. Also, I wanted to be proud to say that I applied on my own.
A bit of some ego there.
Sometimes it's needed. So I wanted to be proud of that too. And I just believe that if I tell anybody, they won't believe in me. It was a very big and bold step. And I don't think it's everyone that will believe in that and accept that it was possible. So for that reason, I thought I just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's like, you go in there, you're thinking, I don't want any kind of discouragement. And it sounds to me like you have some kind of conditioning for your mindset. The things that you allow into your head. I think you kind of got. Can you share a bit more light on that? It's like you have a goal. You try to surround yourself. At least that's what it appears to be, with only components that assist that goal.
Yes. So if I put my mind to something, I want to do it, and I know that it's a good thing, it's positive, it's going to have a good impact, I intend to not listen to any negative, anything that is going to discourage me. I try to block my mind from it, I try to avoid those things until it's solid. And once it's solid, then I bring it up. Because as much as we may think we're strong, I think negativity is stronger. It's crazy to say, but for me personally, I feel like negative words and negative things are strong. It can easily affect you than positive things. The best thing is not think that you are strong and it cannot affect you. I would say the best thing is to avoid it. And for me personally, when I put my mind to something, I'll prefer to avoid it and just focus on what I'm trying to do. And then once I get to a stage where it's solid, it cannot be destroyed, then I will open up.
Yeah, perfectly. I understand what you mean. I have a bit of that as well. I don't. So what can go wrong is obvious. It's a no-brainer. So why you now giving it life? You know, there's no point giving it life if with the obvious is there. So how about if I apply and I'm not giving? It's there.
It's there.
So you don't need to say it, and because there's this saying that for every negative word you need like 7 positive words to kind of counter that and neutralize that negative words. And for me, I feel that it's a good attribute of self confidence and self determination. People who have resilience, they know that there's a possibility that things might go wrong, but they don't want to spend time on that. And I see that in your story. I see that in how you've been able to carry yourself, sticking to it, making that application and all the stuff. All right, now let's move to how did you feel when you got the reply? And from there, what were the preparation steps you took?
I applied in June, and I got the reply around my birthday in November. But during that waiting period, I was like, well, I tried, God, I applied. I thought I wasn't gonna get a response from them. Then 6 months later, I got an email saying I was accepted. I was so excited, and that's when I started telling everyone, like, hey, guess what? I applied, and I got accepted. And I'm going to take it on. Don't tell me anything. Don't discourage me. Don't even bother, because I will do it. Yeah.
All right. So from there, how did your preparation begin, and what were the,
process.
Positive and negative and, process of getting logistics together, and, what was, your mindset at that point in time when you started? So just, you got the confirmation. What did you do? How did you prepare? What were the obstacles? And then whilst in the competition, then what you just explained to us, what were the things also that were going through your mind before and during?
I had the moment of excitement first, then it hit me. I'm actually about to take on a Guinness World Record. How am I going to do this? I had no idea how to start. I think it took me a month for it to sink in. I had to process how to go about it. Because the thing is, I'm not out there. I'm not a social media person. So I'm kind of reserved. So when I had this big thing I had to do, I had no idea who to contact, what to do. I had to think about it. I then spoke to my business partner. We celebrate together. And she's already had someone that plans events. I reached out to her and I said, hey, look, I have this thing that I'm about to do, and I don't know how to go about it. Can you help me plan it? And she was excited. We talked about everything, how we were going to do some fundraising and everything, budget and all of that, what we wanted to look like. Initially, I wanted to have like a year to plan the whole thing because it was a big thing. I wanted to do it in a year time so I can raise some money and save up and prepare for it. But what I didn't know was everybody was doing it at the time. By the time I realized, I had someone in Ghana that did 200 hours. I had someone in Kenya that did, I think, 150 hours. I had somewhere, everywhere. People were doing it everywhere. And I said to myself, what is going on? I had no idea the Guinness World Record people can approve so many people at once. I thought it was one at a time. What I actually realized too was the record was no longer with Hilda Bassi because I wanted her to have it for a little bit. At least she can have it for a year before I can kind of attempt to break the record. But when I logged into the Guinness World Records system, someone else already had it. It was Alan Fisher. So the hours I was meant to beat increased from 190 or 193 to 119 hours. I think that was my first obstacles, I would say. The hours I expected to beat was now higher than what I expected. And it was now in a different country, not even in Nigeria. It was now in Japan. Then knowing that everybody was attempting to break it at the same time, I kind of panicked. I was like, hold on, I think I have to speed it up. So instead of having 1 year to plan the whole thing, I had to bring it up to 2 months. So we decided to plan the whole thing. I got accepted in November. Then we had November, December, January to plan it. We started planning. We did a GoFundMe to raise some money for it. Unfortunately, I could not raise much. I tried to get sponsors because a lot of the people that were doing it, they had sponsors everywhere. I couldn't get any sponsors here in Australia. I tried everything. And also, it was just a short amount of time. So there was not enough time to get anything. I went online, found a cooking school, which was the perfect place to do it. It was very expensive, but regardless, we proceeded. We managed to raise the money on my own. I had a community savings then, so I spoke to them, did some deposit here and there. Then at the end of it, I did all the other deposits. Then we got the cooking school. We did it there. We got a camera guy. I even had a different camera guy who was going to video the whole thing. Last minute, he canceled. He couldn't do it. I think I had 1 week, I had to get a new camera person. Due to that, he could not go through all the guidelines, which affected us. We did the recording, and that's why it took so long to get the result, because the video was recorded in the wrong format due to the short amount of planning. Then I also had the obstacle of managing a restaurant. I was managing a restaurant and a milk bar and also planning for that. That kind of affected me a lot because there was so much going on at once. But we managed to get everything together, got the camera guy, and we proceeded to purchasing food. I think to even purchase the food, it was my brother that supported in that area. Gave me the first deposit to start purchasing the food stuff before we could have the foods available. Then we put the date and we did the advertisement video and all of that. Then proceeding to the day. When we started on the 19th of February, the initial time we were supposed to start, the lights were not working. The fridge were not working. We had huge delay for 2 hours. Everyone online were waiting for us. After that delay, we managed to proceed. Everything later started working. Then I think an hour or two in the marathon, everything stopped. We had everything cut off. I was panicking because I had no idea what was going to happen because we have to record every single thing. 24 hours, every single details of what's happening to submit to the Guinness World Records.
So when you say it stopped, what do you mean? And why did it stop?
I think because a lot of things, I have no idea what was going on. I'm not sure if because a lot of things were plugged in, but everything did just stop, like all the electricity.
Oh, okay, electricity.
Yeah, all the electricity. I mean, all the recording stopped. And that was the main thing, like for the proof. So we really needed that for our evidence of the record. Yeah, but we managed to fix all of that. We then proceeded doing the marathon. One of the hardest things would be when there were not a lot of people cheering me on. I found it really hard to stay awake. But every time I had the community there, I had people cheering me on, I had people singing, people dancing, my energy came back. Another thing would be when I had to take my breaks every 4 hours. So basically what you have is every 1 hour, you get 5 minutes break. Every 4 hours, you have 20 minutes break. I chose to take the 20 minutes break. But then by the time I go and come back, 10 minutes is already gone. So basically, I had 10 minutes break. I will use that to refresh. I will use that to probably eat. Then I decided to maybe split my 10 minutes. Maybe the first time, I'll use it to refresh. The second break, I'll try to use that to take my 10 minutes nap. But doing the marathon, I discovered that every time I come from my break, I struggle to stay awake. It was the hardest thing. But I didn't know what the problem was. While I was cooking, I was trying to figure out what was going on. So I was kind of doing a little investigation here and there. Then I started to notice the pattern was whenever I had the naps, it was more damaging to me than staying awake all the time. So I discovered that it was easier for me to stay awake the whole time than to have the power nap, because the power naps were more like damaging.
You're taking the power out of you.
Yeah, it was actually taking the power out of me. So I discovered that. But it was sad because I discovered that at almost the end. I think the last 2 days, that was when I picked that up, which I wish I picked it up earlier. I wouldn't have had the power naps. But when I picked that up, then I stopped having the power naps. Yeah, so that was all the process, complication. Yeah.
So what was going through your mind? Was there any point in time where you felt like, you know what, maybe this was a bad idea, probably it's beginning to affect my, my mental health, sleeping pattern, it's taking a toll on me. Did it get to any time like that? And what kept you going in spite of that?
I'd say one of the things that got me a little bit worried would be when I started hallucinating. I was really confused. If you watch the videos, there were times where I would just stand and just look at one spot. I was looking at things that were not there. I was saying crazy things. Then I had to stop and think. And then I said to myself, okay, this is not normal. Then I had to focus and just remember why I was doing everything. And also remember that I'm in a competition. I'm trying to break a record. I need to focus on that. And also remember the guidelines. I need to be cooking continuously. Basically, I had to have like 2 pots on the fire and always doing something like cooking. I had to think about all those things, all the rules, know that I cannot just stand there. So I think whenever I start hallucinating, I try to kind of direct myself back to, it's not normal, it's part of it, this is part of what's going to happen. I had to remember why I was doing it. I wanted to motivate people like me, or people that think they cannot achieve anything big or great in their life. I just wanted people to know that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And if I can do it, they can do it too. I had to remember all of that and just kind of keep pushing. And then at the same time, I was just praying. Basically, I think I'll say that's how I got through it.
Now, when you finished, what was the first thing you did when you finished the whole exercise?
When I finished the cooking marathon, funny enough, I did not finish the way I intended to finish. What happened was the last day, I'll tell you something. The last 2 days, I don't remember what happened. I lost my memory.
What?
Yes, I only remember few things. I lost my memory for that particular moment. I don't know what happened. The few things I remember was where the crowd was, it was the opposite to me. Like when I look, it seemed like I was somewhere else and everybody else was somewhere else. Everything was just opposite. But the interesting thing was my cooking brain was on auto. And I was really amazed at with everything that was going on. The food still tastes good. Everything was still consistent when it came to the food. But mentally, I was gone. I was not there mentally. I was just cooking on automatic. Then when I finished the marathon, I couldn't sleep. My energy came back. But before that, how we ended was, I think the last moment there was a lot of people. I started worrying about feeding them. I got distracted. I was like, how am I going to feed all these people? There was so much people. They were dancing. I remember that bit. There was a lot of people. Everyone were dancing, excited. Then I said to myself, I'm not sure if this was real or this was something that was just going through my head. It just felt like there was so much people. I felt like I wouldn't be able to feed them. I started to panic. I think I forgot about the marathon for a second. I felt like I was just there to feed people. Then I got distracted with that. I ended up resting on a bench. And then one of the team members took me to the back. And then I just slept. That was it. My body gave up. Because I wanted to go until Monday. I think we finished on Sunday. I wanted to go for 7 days. Then my body gave up on me. I overslept for 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
And then the team was like, that's it. You broke the rules. It's done.
You broke the rules.
Yeah.
Wow, it's quite interesting, Evette, talking about your journey and the obstacles and how you've been able to keep your head in the game. It shows resilience. It shows determination, the ability to withstand, different hurdles and obstacles. We'll take a little break and we'll come back on the Contemplate Show. Don't go away. All right, we're back on the Contemplate Show, episode 12. We're speaking to Evette Quoibia, the Guinness Book record holder of the Cookathon or Cooking Marathon, if you like. She holds the award for 140 hours, 6 days of cooking non-stop. So just before we went for the break, we're talking about what were the events that happened during and towards the end of the Cookathon. So please, Evette, can you share with us the celebration and the ending of that experience?
Yeah, sure. Towards the end, once we finished, I thank everyone for coming. I was a little bit sad because I wanted to go longer, but I was also glad that I did break the hours that I intended to break. And I also did extra hours just in case some of the hours were disqualified. That would still get me to the initial hours that I intended to do. Once we were done, I had people bring me flowers, the Liberian community and the African community, everyone in Melbourne, a lot of people in Melbourne, they were there celebrating with me. I was just thanking God that it happened, because I felt like there was also a miracle that happened during that time. Before I did the marathon, I was worried about my feet, my hands, but I felt like there was a miracle where my hands, my arms, my legs were not hurting, apart from all the other obstacles that I spoke about. One of them were not me not being able to stand to continue what I was doing. So I was grateful for that. I then celebrated with my community, with the flowers, and just kind of thank God. But I wasn't feeling sleepy at all. It's like the sleep disappeared from my eyes. My body got used to staying awake after the marathon. I then went home, celebrated with my family, just rejoicing basically. Then I slept for 3 days. I had to do a sleeping marathon.
That's interesting. So, what would you point to? What that was a major reason you were able to go through in terms of preparation? What preparation did you take on that helped you throughout this journey, if there was any?
Yes, there were. There was some preparations. The first thing would be I was already in the kitchen cooking a lot. I did a pre-marathon where I did a fundraising event at the restaurant, cooked for 3 days with no sleep. Then I also said to myself, if I sleep a lot, my body is going to get used to sleeping. Then it's going to be hard for me to stay awake. So I trained my body to stay awake. So what I did was, within a month, I break it down to staying awake longer each night or each day. So let's say day 1, I slept for 5 hours. Day 6, for 3 hours. And then I kept going until I cut the sleep down to maybe 3 hours or 2 hours. Just give my body 2 hours. Within like 3 weeks, leading to the pre-marathon, then the actual marathon. The week before the marathon, I stopped sleeping completely. Maybe just 2 hours sleep a night, just to train my body to stay awake. And then the week before, I think 1 day before the marathon, I'll say 2 days. Day 1, 2 days before the marathon, day 1, I slept. Day 2, I did not sleep. So I just learned to train my body to stay awake, because I believe if my body gets used to staying awake, it will know that this is normal. But if it gets used to sleeping, then it's going to struggle to stay awake. That's why.
Wow, that's really, 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 really interesting. Honestly, I feel so I'm honored to have you on this show, because you've gone through a ton of obstacles, from the idea itself, and the filling of the form, talking to people, raising funds, people pulling out last minute, and all the hurdles. You still came out with this record. It shows resilience, determination, and your ability to keep your eye on the prize. Now, I'll ask you one more question before we, wrap this up. And then you recommend books, or, give us your final word for those who want to embark on big dreams and chase their goals. Now, in all of this, what has this done to you? How has it, affected your self-belief and the things you can take on in the future?
I'll say this has impacted me in a positive way. The first thing would be, it taught me that nothing is impossible. You can do anything you put your mind to. Anything you put your mind to. Also, it helped me discover myself in a way that I never thought I was going to. For example, growing up in Australia, I was born in Ivory Coast, grew up in Ghana, then came to Australia. But I'm a Liberian. See how confusing that is? So I struggle to identify myself with which one of these. So I always say to people, I'm a Liberian from Ivory Coast. And sometimes I'm just confused. I don't even know really what to say. And then also, I'm from Liberia. Mom and dad are Liberian, so Liberian. And coming to Australia, I didn't really grow up among my people. I've always been around the French-speaking people and kind of adapted to that, and also the Nigerians. I would say I kind of lost myself in that area. But when I did the cooking marathon and I had all the Liberian community came and supported, they brought the flag, I hold it. I felt like there was something like, it was like a welcome home for me. I found myself in that moment. And then I fully embraced myself as a Liberian. And I felt like something kind of clicked inside me where I want to be in the Liberian community. I want to go back home. I want to make an impact. I want to be part of the community back home here and do something different or contribute, if I would say. So for me, that's the biggest thing I took from this. Not just the record, but just founded myself in that area. And I discover more purpose, I would say.
Fantastic. What language do you speak in Liberia? I know Ivory Coast is French.
Yeah.
They have French there. So Liberian, is it French or no?
We speak English, but it's like a mixture of American accent.
Oh, okay.
But the broken one.
So you speak French though?
Yes, from Ivory Coast, yes.
Okay.
So people doing the marathon, they were like, she's not Liberian, she's French, she's Nigerian.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, what are your advice to those who want to take on life? They've put themselves in a position where they feel, they're not good enough. They've listened to people who have kind of pulled them down, and it's like, you know what, maybe it's not for me. But there's something in me that wants to achieve something, a goal, a big dream. So what do you have, to advise these people, to let them know that, yes, you might feel the way you're feeling now, but I've gone through it and I've come through the other side. So what would be your final word for this people?
I would say never listen to all the negative topic out there. Anything that is not positive, that is not going to lift you up. I would say the first step is to not listen to those things. I think any voice you should listen to is that thing in you that says you were made for more. That thing that makes you feel like you're supposed to do something big. You're born for greatness. You were born for something that is bigger than yourself. I think that's what they should listen to. Also, they should not give up on themselves, even if they don't know what it is. They don't know how it's going to happen. Their job is just to believe. And if they believe in God, to trust in God, that God will lead them to that right place where they will have the opportunity to be whatever they're supposed to be, or whatever that's in them that is supposed to come out. That thing will come out, and they don't need to know how it's going to happen. It's just interesting how if it's in you, it's eventually going to come out if you don't give up and you keep believing. And I think another big thing for me, I'll say to them is, don't let any opportunity pass you by. Take advantage of every opportunity. Sometimes if an opportunity comes, it might take forever before it comes back, or it might never come back. But if the opportunity comes, don't worry about what people are going to say. Just go for it. If you fail, you still win because you learn something for the next opportunity. If you win, awesome. That's great. But if you never take that step because you're afraid or because you're worried about what people will say, then you're never going to give birth to that thing that I would say God has placed in you that is going to benefit a lot of people. don't look down on yourself because of your background. And that's one of the main reasons why I attempted to break this fucking marathon, because I feel like, I've never had the opportunity. I missed a lot of opportunities in life, or maybe my dream will never come true. I'll never achieve anything big in my life. I remember when I was 18, this is something, I don't share this with a lot of people, but I had all my friends, people were finishing high school, people were going to uni, people were doing big things. And then I look at me and I'm like, damn, nothing good is going to come from out of me. Like, what am I going to achieve in life? Like, everywhere I look, it feels like the doors are closed. But why am I saying this? Is it doesn't matter what your life looks like. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it with all your heart and keep pushing and keep believing in yourself, and you eventually be whoever you're meant to be, or accomplish or achieve whatever you're supposed to achieve. As long as you don't give up and you keep believing in yourself and trusting God.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Evette, Quoibia. We've come to the end of the Contemplate Show. This is episode 12, and we've had a lot from Evette. She shared a story on how she got the desire to do something phenomenal, and she was able to go through a lot of obstacles and challenges, and she's come out with the Guinness Book of World Record holder here in Australia. And she cooked for 6 days. That's good. She rested on the 7th day. Actually, she rested for 3 more days. Thank you for your time. And I believe when we call you back again, you would honor our invitation. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want us to treat a topic, please put it in the comment section. And as your host, Enoch Ogi, bye for now.
Bye.